Hello? Hello? Test, test.
Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022 to order. Can everyone hear me? Okay. At this time, we'll rise to the Pledge of Allegiance, the invocation led by Vice Chairman Corey Kennedy. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your head should you choose to do so. Father God, we ask you to look over us tonight. Bless all that are here. Guidance. Ask for the safety of our county police officers and everyone else in our community. We ask you to give us your graces in the decisions we make tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, Sierra Sol, could you please call the roll?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Bear. Commissioner Walls.
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy.
Present.
Commissioner Duckham.
Here.
Commissioner Pileski.
Here.
Commissioner Alexander.
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Commissioner Snell. Chairman Shotwell.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 2A, approval of the agenda. Entertain a motion. Commissioner Duckham moved.
Support.
Corey Kennedy supported. Any questions to the agenda?
I want consent.
Yes, sir. Any others? If you have a paper agenda, there will be an item 7B under special meetings of standing committees also, just to make you aware. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Awards and recognition, we have none this evening. Are there any communications and petitions? Please give them to the clerk. Seeing none, special order of public hearings, we have none. We've arrived at the first opportunity for public comment. Public comment guidelines. Each individual will state their name and have 3 minutes to address the board. You may only address the board once under this public comment opportunity and may not yield your time to others. Board members will not debate nor answer questions at this time. This is your first opportunity for public comment.
Good evening, Commissioners. Pete Jensen, Blackman Township Supervisor. I just here in support of the corridor improvement of County Farm Road and Springport Road, and the award of the contract to Mead Brothers is in that. And I just want you to realize the impact that has on the entire county and the entire surrounding area. And as far as the County Farm Road, I just checked the other day, and going back to 2016, I have been in communication with JCDOT and the current industries that are there, who came to us and asked for safety improvements as well as traffic and trucks and staffing. So thank you for your consideration.
Good evening, Board. David Elba, here to speak on the County Farm Road project as well. First, I'd like to thank you for giving consideration of the project on County Farm Road, and I ask that you agree to fund the amount of overage for the work on County Farm Road, which is a county primary road. Blackman had previously agreed to the 20% match requirement for the federal grant, even though 70% of the total work approximately is on County Farm Road. They will also be funding their overage within the park, as the actual bid for both parts of the project was over the estimate. I hope we don't miss the opportunity to improve this county road with majority of funding paid by others. I had previously provided additional documents that I emailed all commissioners and the administrator with relevant information on the project, which included a support letter from Technique, as well as data from TAC. The Technique letter speaks for itself, including the problems in the roadway that need correcting. Data from TAC, likely similar to the other businesses in the area, shows that this project impacts more than just a local township. TAC employs approximately 119 people that live in the city of Jackson and pay approximately $42,000 annually in income taxes to the city of Jackson. I would guess the other businesses in the area employ similar percentages of city residents. The County Farm Road portion of this project includes work from Deering Road through the Springport Airport County Farm Roads intersection. And last night I looked up an MLive article from last year on the most dangerous intersections in our county, which was from 2020, I believe. Number 1 intersection was Boardman and Airport Roads. Number 2 was Airport and I-94. And number 6 was the County Farm Road, Airport Road, Springport Road intersection. I believe Airport Road in that area is the busiest road in our county. In closing, please fund this request. It's a county road. It needs these improvements regardless of any additional development in the area. And not funding it means declining on approximately 80% of the federal funding to do the work. And I again thank you for your consideration on the issue.
Commissioners, my name is Beth Masters, and I'm the Manager of Human Resources at TAC Manufacturing. I'm here on behalf of our associates. This year, TAC is celebrating its 30th year in the Jackson community. We currently employ approximately 700 individuals. Our motto has been and always will be safety first. For years, TAC has asked what can be done to help improve County Farm Road for the safety of our current associates, our future associates, and for others that live and work in the vicinity. TAC has many dedicated people who go above and beyond the normal societal expectations to do what they can to get to work, such as walking and riding their bikes. We know there are others who may be willing to do so if the conditions were more ideal on County Farm Road. We've had many close calls and actual encounters between vehicles and pedestrians due to inadequate lighting and no defined areas to cross or walk along County Farm Road. We have a large number of associates at TAC who live in Windham Hills and appreciate the ability to walk to work. However, this creates a huge safety situation, especially during the busier traffic times and at night. There are also many individuals from various apartment complexes along County Farm Road and Springport Road that walk or ride their bikes to work. Many areas along County Farm Road are not appropriate for bikes or even walking, which pushes people to walk or ride along the edge of the road. You can imagine what dangerous situations present themselves in these areas. Imagine what that might look like midwinter after a couple of inches of snow have accumulated. I'd like to remind you that the speed limit along most of County Farm Road is 55 miles per hour. You have to imagine when the new Jackson County Technology Park is up and running, not only will the vehicle traffic dramatically increase, but so will the pedestrian traffic. This is a continued concern for TAC. TAC has been very excited about proposed changes to County Farm Road. We have shared it with our associates, and as we receive updates, we share those too. We have encouraged the excitement for this project, especially since it parallels our safety first mindset. We ask that you do what is necessary to help this long-awaited plan to come to fruition. Do what you have to do to show the people in our community that you not only want to provide them with a great place to work, but you want to ensure their safety by providing suitable accessibility at the same time. Thank you very much for your time. Allowing me this opportunity. My name is Cindy Acker.
I moved to Michigan from Minnesota back in the 1970s, and I was really impressed with Jackson's downtown. And through the years, I've witnessed the decline, and now I see some really hard, smart people working to build this community back up. My husband has been a lifetime resident of Jackson County. We've raised 4 daughters here. We see Jackson coming back to life again. We've been in Sandstone Township, Blackman Township, Summit, Leone, and so I come tonight, and I'm speaking currently as a Blackman Township resident, as a Jackson County resident. We've had 2 grandmas in Park Forest. We've had numerous families and friends that have lived at the complex of Park Forest. Both of the grandmas, when they moved into Park Forest retirement high-rise, were active. They like to get out and walk, and got to a point where we just said, hey, grandmas, you can't walk anymore. You can't go to Meijer. They used to love to go to Meijer. They used to go to Hudson's little restaurant there, and they'd eat onion rings, you know. And it just got to a point where we just said, you can't do it anymore. It's not safe. As a Jackson County resident, I'd really like to see some improvement in the area, and I'd really appreciate your consideration and support.
Good evening, Jennifer Bittinger, Blackman Township, Jackson County. I believe tonight you all are going to be voting on, or at least presenting the information from regarding the board resolution about receiving funds for elections, and I'm really glad to hear about that, and I thank you all for considering that and for making it clear what our county will and will not do. I'm hoping that will be passed as we need it, because so many of us in our county have been extremely concerned about the election integrity of our country, more particularly of our state and specifically of our county. And I myself have been working on it, in fact, all day today. I've been working with a few people trying to find out about the possibility of getting our cast vote records. It seems like it's a very difficult thing to do, so I would really appreciate if I could know what forms and or what I need to do, either come into the office or make a request online, or what I need to do, because apparently our county is different from a lot of other counties. But that is my goal for right now, is to get the cast vote records, which are the complete digital records of each ballot. We know there are so many problems with our recent elections and past elections. Even the Democrats from years ago, they were complaining, fraud, fraud, fraud. And, you know, and now that the other side seems to be complaining, fraud, fraud, fraud. It's like the point is here, it's all ruined, it's all a mess, it's all broken, it needs to be fixed. The QVF is corrupt, the ERIC program is corrupt, it all needs to be redone, and a lot of citizens are working hard, but we need you, we need our representatives, we need you that we have elected to help govern us and govern the people, to stop saying, well, we haven't seen any proof. There's been so much proof all over. I have seen so much proof. But what do you need to say what is proof? And we need our law enforcement to start, you know, prosecuting the problem. I mean, it's just, anyway, you can obviously tell I'm very heated about it, I'm very passionate about it. All I want to know is when I go to the ballot box, I want to know that my vote is accurately measured and added together with all the other true votes, and not changed somewhere along the process, not really in the precincts. I don't think it's happening there. But all the process is broken, and we really will be reaching out soon to be able to try. All done? Okay, so please I hope you all are willing to get behind us, because we really need this. Thank you so much.
Any other public comment?
evening, everybody. My name is Amador Ibarra. I've volunteered as an election challenger for the past 3 election cycles. I have volunteered to contact various clerk's offices regarding their election procedures under the purpose of voter protection. I've learned a great deal about the intricacies of the election process and have had all positive experiences during these activities. After the most recent August 2nd primary, I had the opportunity, and indeed the privilege, to observe our Jackson County Board of Canvassers and the Jackson County Clerk's Office as they certified this primary. I want to commend the Jackson County Clerk's Office, all county election division staff, as well as all city and municipal clerk's offices and election staff in Jackson County for their hard work. I was greatly impressed with the county clerk's office working in cooperation with the board, the canvassing board, and all other clerks, election personnel to ensure the board met their criteria for certification of a free and fair election. It is very refreshing, was indeed very refreshing, it's why I'm here tonight, to see such cooperative attention to detail by our election officials in Jackson County. I'm proud of all of them, and you all should be too. Thank you very much.
Any further public comment? Any further public comment? Public comment is now closed. Arrived at item 7, special meeting of the standing committees, Public Safety and Transportation, chaired by Vice Chairman Corey Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for some clarity tonight, neither of these will be action items at committee level, I'm correct in that? And will we be looking for a motion to put this on the consent agenda or my normal standing committee?
You may, at your preference, choose either, sir.
Sure. Take us to item A, Public Safety and Transportation Committee, Circuit Court, Raise the Age Funds, Youth Center renovation. I believe Charles is here. Come forward, please.
Good evening, all. You have before you a request for a motion to approve renovation funding for the youth center for the Raise the Age Fund. It's necessary to put in restroom facilities in approximately 20 of the rooms for the residents that currently don't have them. It was one of the initial safety and security concerns that we had once Raise the Age was approved at the state level and implemented. And we were lucky to, get an award of about $231,000 to help fund that project. It is a last-minute request. It was unfortunate that the proposal bids didn't come in as quickly as we were hoping. The facilities department worked very hard with youth center administration to get local quotes for us, and we were able to secure that before the end of the fiscal year because these funds don't roll over. They end September 30th, so any appropriation that we receive and we don't use goes back to the state. Then we would have to potentially reapply, and it's only on availability of funds. So I really don't want to roll that dice. So I'll answer any questions.
The main one, and I think I know the answer, is that the entire cost of $230,947 is covered by a grant.
Yes.
The county will be made whole on it.
Will be made whole.
Committee members, are there any other questions? Commissioner Bear.
$231,000.
Yes.
Jackson County responsible to make the initial payments, and then Jackson County gets first.
It is a reimbursement, yes, sir. It works just like many of our other grants, that we have to expend the funds and then,
Time frame for the county to write that check for 231, what is that?
September third. September.
September.
Yes, sir.
Just like a confirmation from our administrator that we have that money available in our general fund to use.
We do.
Okay, is that my questions?
Any other committee member questions?
Mr. Chair, there's no other questions off the motion.
Your motion is to forward it to the full board.
Support.
Okay, have
To the full board time frame?
today. A preference whether it goes to my standing committee or to, just on the consent agenda. You want it as a separate item, or do you want it on the consent agenda?
Consent agenda.
A motion by Williams, supported by Duckham. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Takes us to item B, Jackson County Department of Transportation, County Farm, Springport Corridor Improvement Project to Mead Brothers, and Angela's here. I know you emailed us all. Hopefully everyone got a chance to take a look at that.
Yes, I apologize for the late email. I was focused on finding the 1.1 million and kind of forgot to add the item for approval. So, I'm before you with the project, requesting to award to Mead Brothers the low bid. We have the bid tab in the email. We had 3 bidders. The funding for this project, it is a reimbursement grant. The 9.9 is the total construction. 5.9 is EDA grant. 2.9 is Blackman Township's match, and then the almost 1.1 is what is an agenda item later on this evening, regarding the overage. But that is proposed to be county general fund.
Committee members, do we have any questions? Commissioner Barrett.
Correct. 2 years ago, the county farm road was rebuilt.
I do not since I've been here.
Currently, the county farm road is in a condition that our residents around the county, their local road is that good. So, from a construction standpoint, I think I've asked previously to get a copy of the plans for this. Existing county farm road, excellent condition. Plan is to demo there. Like that, it's the plan to third lane, passing lanes, that is going to be adjacent to the current construction.
No, so it's only improvements along the corridor where it's needed for the safety improvement. So the third lane is at the new intersection of Ayrshire and County Farm. There's not a resurfacing of this roadway. The signal is at that.
The current county farm road is not going to be demoed to accomplish this project.
Correct, no, it's not.
Okay. So the question, the county is approving this, $9 million project. Funds are coming to other entities. I thought the county was going to, I was anticipating voting only to approve the $20 million.
That's
it. Actually approved $9.9 million. The other entities that you list that are going to be contributing funds, are they under contract with the county to absolutely must do that?
Yes, yes, it was part of the EDA submittal. And the 1.1 is a separate agenda item on the consent agenda.
The next question will be to the administrator. The next couple of years, when this project is being built, the county's going to have to issue a check. What fund is that going to come out of, and does the general fund have enough money to do that?
It is the general fund, and we do recommend it.
And you do what?
Yes. Answer is yes.
You have adequate funds to cover that check,
We do.
monthly, whatever it takes to
Mm-hmm.
get reimbursed?
There won't be a reimbursement on that.
Say what?
There's not a reimbursement on that. That is $1.1 million that we anticipate providing this project that is not reimbursable at this point.
Can I clarify? I think he's asking for the entire project, so it's a reimbursement grant.
Oh,
So as JCDOT controls the project, we'll do estimates, we'll do bi-weekly pay estimates, and then we will get reimbursed from those sources. So we'll get reimbursed from Blackman, which Pete has agreed that he'll pay, he's willing to pay up front, so we don't have that huge expenditure at JCDOT. And then from that moment, we'll be just bankrolling, I guess is the way to put it, those bi-weekly payments. So JCDOT's budget will be paying it, get reimbursed from the county general fund, which Cecilia said is just a transfer. And then the EDA, they said the first one takes a little bit of time, but then it's electronic. It's like every two weeks, 2 weeks later, we can get the reimbursement.
Okay, during the next couple of years, we'll see under construction. County's on the hook for $9.9 million. County's gonna make periodic payments, 20 payments, 40 payments of this $9.9 million. The county's gonna have to $500,000 at a time.
I can't tell you what those estimates will be because it's based on construction and whatever items are done at that time. But yes, we will have to pay out of pocket and then be reimbursed.
Okay, based on the time frame, the county's not gonna make checks for $100,000.
It could be. It just depends on the work items that are happening.
Good.
It could be 100,000, it could be 700,000.
sure.
It just depends on the items. But yes, it will be planned accordingly with our cash flow.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman Shotwell, you,
To answer Commissioner Bear's question about County Farm construction, what occurred is the intersection of County Farm and Blackman Road was rebuilt, and also Blackman Road from County Farm North was rebuilt also to become an all-season road where we used our mill and resurface system. So what we've done is we've surrounded that property with 100% snowproof roads. So that way it'll be properly, the aggregate will be, of driving will be done where heavy trucks can drive on it from the get-go. And so it'll be an all-season road wrapping around that whole project. So going down Blackman to M50, going down Blackman to County Farm Road, and then County Farm Road, all those will be all-season roads. So that way they'll be able to handle the traffic and we won't have to worry about the truck traffic busting it all up. So yeah, so that's the way you've heard County Farm Road be mentioned over the last 5 years, is that we did that rebuilding in anticipation of this project.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
any other questions from committee members? Not, I'd be looking for a motion to forward it to the full board.
So moved.
Moved by Walls, supported by Duckham. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consent for this meeting?
Correct. That concludes the special meeting.
Is that right now?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Kennedy. Move on to item 8A, approval of the minutes of the August Board of Commissioners General Meeting. Moved by Snell.
Williams.
Williams has the second. Any questions to the minutes? Additions? Deletions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Same sign. We've arrived at item 9A, Jackson District Library update.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Tackett, the director of your Jackson District Library. I've been in that position for 6 years and have been with the county, with the district library for 24 years. I just wanted to give you a little update, and I know in your packet you've got my presentation or some pictures. of what's been going on at the library. The presentation, we're starting with the, Abraham Lincoln statue, which has been graced to the library since, it came to our community back in 1916. It was a gift to the city of Jackson at that time, in recognition of the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Republican Party here in Jackson, and the Republican Party at the time raised the funds for that statue to be commissioned. We recently had it cleaned, and we've done some refresh to the base that it sits on, and we've, you can see, created a little more presence for Mr. Lincoln in our, in the main lobby, so we've been really excited about that. It's really become a showcase piece, that's, you know, a long-standing piece in our community, and then something that the library is really proud to be the caretaker of. The library has, gone fine-free, a few years ago. We realized that library fines, had become a very small portion of our revenue, and they also were a barrier for many of our community members in using their library. So we wanted to take that away as something that was a barrier for people to access the information they needed. So it's gone pretty well. We still have some folks that don't bring materials back, and that's okay. You're still responsible, but we're not collecting kind of these punitive fines that weren't doing us any good, and they weren't being collected many times anyway. We brought our, yep, you have a question?
Do you have any data on how many books just don't come back?
I don't have it with me tonight, but I can get some data for you. I mean, it's, you know, things happen, and, for folks, we have, you know, people that we use a collection agency if they have excessive kind of things, and they'll help follow up with them for us. It's not significant.
General number, and what's the cost of replacing those books?
Sure, we can look into that. We also have brought our bookmobile back. At the time, the city and the county library merged to make the district library. There were bookmobiles with both areas, so this has become a new old new service. We're really, again, trying to help people access the library who might not be as close to a library branch, or they might be in a situation where they just can't get to the library. This fall, the bookmobile will have some regular stops on a 3-week rotation around the county. Some in the city of Jackson, many that are out in the communities, and that schedule's on the website, so people can be following the bookmobile. People can put holds on it, treat it like a branch. They can show up every 3 weeks at the same location, and we'll be always, every probably quarter, looking at that schedule and making tweaks and adjustments. But the staff has been we've had it for a year now, and they've been working to just explore with it, and it's also available for community events, and things like that too, at request. Our next project that we've worked on in the last year was our Brooklyn branch expansion, and this allowed us to double the size of the Brooklyn branch, add a meeting room, add area for children, kind of separate the children and the adult space. So it made it so that the branch is a lot more comfortable for everyone. The meeting room gets used regularly, and the programming and the collection and circulation is just coming right back up as they got reopened this year. That project was about $1.7 million. To do that, we already owned the property that we expanded onto. So it was, you know, completed with a lot of support from, of course, the Brooklyn community and then other folks around the county, so we appreciate that. As kind of I've been speaking, we're trying to improve access. So one of the other latest projects, we worked with the Jackson Area Transportation Authority, and we've also worked with the city of Jackson to provide Wi-Fi on the buses with the JATA, and then we also bumped our Wi-Fi over to Blackman Park so that it's available when you're in the park. You can get access to the internet. We're looking at some other projects around the county and some of the other communities to kind of use our resources to help benefit folks that way. The majority of our funding comes from grants or it doesn't come from grants and donations, it comes from property taxes, but we do get some grants and donations too. Last year, we received about $50,000 in donations from foundations, and then about $100,000 in grants. So we have, staff who work to seek other funding for the programs we do, and some things that can be used, for different projects, so. Kind of looking forward, seeing what's coming up. We recently purchased a senior center out in Spring Arbor, and we're in the process of renovating that into our newest branch that will move the Spring Arbor branch over there that we currently have. That project is taking us from about 1,800 square feet to 5,000 square feet, and we'll be able to, again, add a meeting room and create separate spaces for adults and children. And we're looking for that to be finished before the end of the year. As projects are going, we never know, but I think it's coming along really well. We're working with Mercer, and they're doing a really nice job for us with that project. You probably saw some work around the Carnegie Library in the last year. And we did a complete cleaning and mortar restoration of the building. We also replaced about 50 stones that were cracked. And we also replaced the skylights that are on top of the building. And we're still working on the last part of putting it out to bid to do window restoration for the historic windows in that 1906 building. And just a couple other branches that we're working on planning projects for is our Henrietta branch, is in need of a new roof, and that's always a good, big, fun project. And then our East branch too has not had a renovation since it was originally built in the early 80s. So we're looking at that project also. The other thing that we gave a facelift to was our website recently, so if you get a chance, that's a place where a lot of our e-resources live, and people access that daily to find materials, find resources, get information. So we hopefully think we've made it a little easier to use for folks. Another service that we've added is our JDL Pick service, and if you are having a hard time figuring out what to read next, we have staff that can help you make suggestions, fill out a little form, they'll come back with some suggestions for you from things you like to read or things you identify. So a little personalized library service at your fingertips. Programming has always been a standard at the libraries. Our summer reading program went very well this year. People were coming back in person. We also have been partnering downtown with JPS, with the Meet Up and Eat Up program. We had lunch on the lawn most days this summer for the kids, and then we would combine that with some outdoor programming or indoor programming, depending on the weather. One of the projects we're working on next is a project called Story Walks, and we've done some temporary story walks at different times around the community, but we've received some funding to install permanent story walks. And we're starting out with the Dahlem Center, Grass Lake Schools, and Hanover community. And these are where a family it's like a picture book, you blow it up, it's in a frame, and you can kind of walk, read, kind of have an experience with that. And the frames can also have maybe an activity. We can put some other fun things in there for families to do together while they're out and about. And this year, Jackson Story Fest is celebrating 35 years, and we're the largest storytelling festival in Michigan. We currently, instead of bringing all the kids downtown though, we take the tellers to the schools now, but we still will be having some public performances, so we'll be looking forward to those. Hopefully you can get a chance to attend something. And one of our branches is celebrating 100 years this year. Farmer Branch will be 100 in November, so if you get a chance to drop by on November 2nd, we invite you to come have some cake and celebrate 100 years of libraries in the community of Parma. Don't know if there's any other questions, or you can always reach me.
Commissioners, Any question for Sarah? Darius?
The only question I have is related to will there be a formal invitation sent out with date, time?
We will, yeah, we'll send something out.
Thank you. Nothing further, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions? Sarah, if you're gonna return with some information on the lost books, could you let me know the electronic books? I know that the library now is a very diverse media source, and I've spoken to a lot of people who download books onto their reading devices and do that. I wonder how many of those are actually being done in Jackson. I think that would be an interesting number.
Sure.
And, do you still have your hot list of books that you can check out electronically, as a service?
Oh, yeah, yep.
I know that was a big thing. There was a lot of very interesting books that were picked on that list.
Yeah, we received a grant, recently too. If you go on our Overdrive site, there's a special collection of books. It's a lot of nonfiction. It's a lot of, really kind of personal growth and health kind of related books or discovery books for people. It was a grant we got through the Library of Michigan, related to COVID and people trying to, supporting people where they're at right now too. So there's a special collection of ebooks there too.
I do want to thank your, research and reference department, because they helped us when we were doing the search on Keeley Park and to show when Mr. Keeley and everything he did for Jackson and Jackson County as a county supervisor, and the creation of the fairgrounds and all of that type of stuff, and the reason why his name's attached to that piece of property. I really thank you for that also.
I want to thank you all for your support with our bookmobile, because we are parking our bookmobile out of the garage up north there, and that is greatly appreciated. We built the bookmobile so it could live outside, but if we give it garage, it's gonna hopefully last us longer. Appreciate your support in that too. Well, thank you for giving me a few minutes.
Thank you.
We've arrived at the consent agenda. Entertain a motion? Support. We have a motion and support. Commissioner Bear?
10B, 911 dispatch, FPSCS radio policy 5240, consent agenda.
Sorry, that will become your, 14B. Yes, sir.
I request, item 10K be pulled from the consent agenda, please. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and move to 14C.
Didn't hear that. Which item was that?
We're moving the County Farm Springport Road Corridor Improvement Project to 14C. Any other items?
Question.
Yes, sir.
With the item that we passed tonight that was brought by Angela,
Yes, sir.
would that be a conflict if that was the past understanding and then item C also passed? Or, excuse me, if one passed and one didn't?
You can't have the second one tonight without the first one passing.
Should they both be pulled?
If you would so like that, sir, we can do that.
That would be appropriate.
Okay, we will move the item, the special agenda item, which was item 7B, which became item, I can tell, item, 10M to now 14D. And a K still means a strikeout. Any other items to move around on the agenda? Are you all set, Vice Chairman?
I am.
I will ask for the button to be pushed by the clerk so we can vote. on the consent agenda?
Voting is open.
Thank you.
Ready for me to go?
Are we
Waiting on one.
waiting on one? Presented me the option.
Passes
Thank you,
unanimously.
9-0.
Like that.
Thank you.
We have now arrived at item 14, standing committees, public safety and transportation, chaired by Vice Chairman Corey Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First item of business is item A. A will be appointments to the Community Corrections Advisory Board. We have 2 seats. First is a public seat, business community. Current member is Matt Dane. The applicant is Scott Elliott. Committee recommendation was Scott Elliott.
Any nominations from the floor? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Commissioner Kennedy.
On the same board, the criminal defense, we have a current member, Jolia Mole. The applicant is Harold Downer Jr. Committee recommendation is Harold Downer Jr.
A motion and support. Any nominations from the floor? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Duly carried. Commissioner Kennedy.
Item B, 911 dispatch radio policy. You moved that to item B, correct, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
Right.
County Farm Springport Corridor Improvement as removed by Tony.
I'll move the adoption, Mr. Chair, to get the discussion going.
Support. Discussion.
We have a motion and support in favor of what's currently being presented.
This is the 911 dispatch radio policy that you want to discuss it.
Yes, I do want to discuss it.
Okay. You're up.
Okay, the, 911 policy, 52, currently, our policy. That's been under for 2 years. I think the current policy is good. I think the formula that's used to calculate the fee is good. The only complaint I ever heard from people was that it did not allow the possibility if someone coming onto our system added infrastructure we could take advantage of, that entity should be given 3% credit for their investment. So, existing policy is good, other people wanted that 3% credit added in there. The post policy that I emailed every commissioner over the weekend does that. It leaves the original formula in there, adds the sentence that we give them 3% credit for their investment. With that, everybody made it. The problem I have with the policy that the administration has offered, page 2 of it, cost item 1, each non-county member is responsible for both their share of investment costs and the operating expenses. What is their share? That's why I have a problem with what's their share.
Actually, that's spelled out in the contract that each of these people would have to enter into, and their share would be 3% of what the cost is for our initial investment of those towers, and then the annual operating costs, their share based on the percentage of radios they have overall. That's what their share means.
Saying that their share is contract.
Correct.
I cannot vote in favor of that. That has to be defined in our policy. It has to be, that policy has to be followed when we sign the contract. Definitions don't get defined in the contract, they get defined in our policy.
No.
But for me, they do. So I will never ever support a policy that says, through the contract, you can make it whatever you want. That's not fair, that's not equitable, that's not just. Policy needs to stand by itself strongly. So I can never support this.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Just a question to Commissioner Baer's request, understanding the difference.
Slightly, a little louder, please.
Understanding the difference between contract and policy, in the event that we adopted Commissioner Baer's suggestion, would we then have to, every time we write a contract, to redo the policy?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No, that's not required. That's not the wrong answer.
No, if I may, Commissioner Bear, a policy is a guide for us to work from. It is not a statutory law. It is not an MCL. It is not a referendum that was passed by the County Board of Commissioners. A policy is a guide for us to work from because we can also suspend our policies. And by suspending our policies, we can then change what we're doing. If we have an MCL, or we have a referendum that's been passed by the voters, or we have a contract, we cannot suspend that contract to change the way it works. We have to write an addendum and then approve that by a majority of the Board of Commissioners sitting here in the room. We don't have to do that with a policy. A policy allows us to begin creating documents that come back to us for us to either endorse or to not approve. That's why you write policies. It's so that way you can have that form of government. Yes, sir.
I totally disagree. Policies are basically the commission's laws. If they're only a suggestion, then what about the policy that says, Chairman Shotwell, you're the only one that can speak on behalf of the full board, and I'm not allowed to do that? Is that then just a suggestion? Is that something that we can evaluate?
Sure.
I don't think so. I think that's a firm policy. The reason that the contracts come back to us for review, boy, I think they should come back for us, is to verify that contract written is consistent with our written policy. These are our laws. I'll phrase it that way. So you write a contract, I want to review it, make sure it complies with our law. I don't want you to just write a contract. If you're just writing the contract, whatever you want, what's the point of bringing it back? Don't waste my time anymore approving these things. I'm going to make a motion right here that the policy that I emailed to everyone.
Sir, you cannot make a motion. There's a motion on the floor.
Pardon me?
There's a motion on the floor that has support. You may attempt to amend the motion on the floor.
Motion on the floor, could you read it to me, please?
Yeah, the motion on the floor is to concur with the recommendation of staff to the policy as it was presented.
I would like to amend that motion. The policy from staff is not something I can support. I would like to substitute the policy that I emailed to every commissioner over this weekend.
I hear no support. Any other questions from commissioners?
I got a question.
Commissioner Baird.
On the policy currently under consideration, there's not enough information here for me to calculate what would the fee be for some new entity coming onto our radio system. If I can't calculate it, the entity coming on can't calculate it, so the fee is some backroom deal. Their share, administrator said, is kind of their percentage of the radios, their percentage based on the total radio. Okay.
Can't support that.
Understood, sir. Any other questions to the motion? Hearing none, could you please post the vote, Madam Clerk?
It is posted. One.
Motion carries 8-1.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kennedy.
Takes us to item C, Jackson County Department of Transportation County Farm Springport Corridor Improvement Project and Jackson Technology Park.
Is that in the form of a motion, Vice Chairman?
Sure.
Do I have support? Support from Commissioner Snell. Commissioners, would you like to speak to the motion? Mr. Pileski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I do plan to vote in favor of the proposal. I think, though, I want to make my views known that this is the second time this summer we have had to buttress JCDOT's budget. First time being with respect to the roads of Leone, and now 5 times as much to buttress the project in Blackman. I am irritated by our need to have to buttress JCDOT's budget, and I hope that we can count on the administration to really get some financial strength at JCDOT that will keep us from having these sorts of surprises in the future. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioners. Mr. Walls.
Understanding that the late time that these bids came in, timelines that we're working here again, I intend to support this, but there's just way too short a time. This should have been bid out earlier on, so that we'd had time to review it, or JCDOT could have had a way to figure out what went wrong and why it's so high over budget. Whether it was the engineer's estimations that were off, or the material that the contractor's intending on using. That, you know, there's something wrong with this, and it should never happen.
Commissioners, any other comments? Mr. Kennedy.
So I too think this project needs to move forward. I really struggled with this. I'm going to speak a little bit to why I did, but overall, to let that much money go from a grant that was going to improve not only safety, but potentially bring in more business to Jackson, I don't see how we can let this go. However, one thing I am really worried about, and it's similar to Commissioner Pileski's, is the precedent that we're setting, and that anytime a DDA or an LDFA, and for those of you here tonight that don't know what those are tax capturing entities in communities, formed by communities separate from the county, that essentially are funded by captured funds from villages that businesses in that district pay. So they exist with county tax funds already, and anytime you gotta go above and beyond, that's a cause for concern, because who's to say Parma doesn't want one, or who's to say that Leone's CDA has a great project, but guess what, county, we need $2 million to make it work. Where does it stop? So, the cause for concern, I am gonna be in support of it tonight. Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Mr. Duffin.
Yes, I don't like spending out of our budget fund balance, but this is could be a once-in-a-lifetime situation to expand the opportunities for our citizens to have good jobs, also retain the good jobs we already have out there. We don't want to lose them. The thing that bothers me is we have no way to replace this money. With the Raffaelli decision, we have a lot of money froze up in an account we can't touch. But you can spend the dollar twice. We have bailed out the SRI situation. We got repaid with those dollars, and now we can use them a second time to fund the project, so I will be supporting it.
Starting with Commissioner Williams, then Commissioner Snell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree with all the comments that have been shared tonight. But again, I think that we have a great opportunity to bring this project to fruition. Again, as has been stated tonight, I'm not a fan of the funding source and precedents that's set. However, we do have a responsibility to look after growth of the county, and this allows us to do that. I would like to, and not a fan of the funding source, but it is a great opportunity. Understanding that, again, we as a county, we are not a bank, so we're not pension, lending money, and then also requiring those dollars to be given back to the county. But I would ask, Blackman, if there are opportunities down the road, there is an opportunity where you're seeing surplus due to this program, there is an opportunity to reimburse the county. I would be appreciative of that, as well as all the commissioners, I'm sure. But again, this is a great opportunity, and we hope that our fellow commissioners will vote in favor of the project. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Snell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think most of you know I think all of you know my position on this project. It's the Jackson County. That all of us, more than others, no doubt, the city is very hurt, going to increase its taxes. I have to say, from the time before I was on the LDFA, got off it, Blackman Township has always managed that money very effectively. Use that money only for what the purposes are, which is to grow industrial parks, provide ready, usable property for manufacturing to either come to Jackson or to expand in Jackson. I hope for a yes vote on this. Thank you.
Any other commissioners like to speak? I want to thank everyone for taking their conscience and studying this. This involved in a decision that will impact Jackson County, as you can see with TAC, Mackey, Shimitol, and the developments that we've happened in the past that will truly impact the community. The development of the TAC and Mackey projects created Target, thinking that Jackson was a good community to move to, and again, we created Jackson Crossing. We also witnessed the development of everything that is north of the airport, which snowballed into the federal government recognizing that we had a quality airport and that we needed to have it refurbished and rebuilt. And Jackson County, because it stood up and did those projects, was able to receive money at 2.5% instead of the going 5%. I've had the privilege of working with Commissioner Snell when he was Supervisor Snell on these projects and being involved. And I also worked very, very well with the Enterprise Group and Deb Kelly, and at the time Amy Torres, putting together this plan for us to even begin mapping out the creation of this LDFA. I also thank David Elwell when he served on this Board of Commissioners and the quiet diligence he did as representing Jackson County on the LDFA, and we really thank you for that service. And the people that have done very well out there in Blackman Township, and realizing that it is a community that we do stuff for. It's not just our own entities, and you're seeing that represented up here as the 9 of us vote now. And I really hope that this has the impact that it needs for the community going forward, so we can figure out where we can start the next industrial park. Madam Clerk, would you please post the vote?
Mr. Chair, before the vote is closed, is this due to the magnitude of this vote? Can I request a call vote?
Certainly.
Post the vote, would you please read the motion?
You're gonna make me read these hard numbers, Tony. Approve the expenditure of $1,077,003.29 in county funds for improvements to County Farm Road. Okay? You're welcome. Commissioner Bear?
Yes.
Commissioner Walls?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Duckham?
Yes.
Commissioner Pileski?
Yes.
Commissioner Alexander?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Snell?
Yes.
Chairman Chatwell?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners, very, very much. Commissioner Kennedy?
Not done yet. That takes us on to the next item. Again, is Jackson County Department of Transportation. County Farm Road, as presented by Angela tonight. I would put that up, in a form of a motion, approve it, support.
We have a motion and support. Questions to the motion?
Gerald, would you repeat the motion, please?
Motion is to concur with staff.
Concur with staff recommendation of Mead Brothers receiving the low bid for Jackson County to do the work on County Farm Road. So you're voting on giving the low bid to Mead Brothers as presented earlier tonight.
Approving the $9+ million.
Yes, sir. Further questions? Please post the vote.
The vote is posted.
We have your Wi-Fi.
Passes unanimously.
What's that?
Passes
Passed unanimously. Commissioner Kennedy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes business, safety and transportation tonight.
Standing Committee, General Government. Commissioner Duckham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No issues or business to discuss tonight.
Thank you, sir. Standing Committee, Human Services, chaired by Commissioner Pileski. Commissioner Pileski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Human Services has no action items tonight.
Thank you, sir. Any unfinished business to come before the Board of Commissioners? Hearing none. New business. Resolution rejecting private money for the funding of elections. We have a motion and support. Any questions? This is Resolution 08-22.24.
Question here, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
So I understand it. If someone were to offer private money to fund our elections, would we not have to approve it at that time?
That's correct.
So I can be in support of this. It's redundant in any event, right? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Just for the sake of those that are here today, can we have the resolution read aloud?
Board of Commissioners of Jackson, State of Michigan states, whereas Jackson County, through the Board of Commissioners, has the authority to accept or reject proposed donations or grants to the county in the form of cash, personal property, and real property. Whereas the funding and managing elections has always been a government function, and whereas private organizations are not subject to the same laws as public institutions, they are not required to hold public hearings, cannot be monitored via Freedom of Information requests, and other mechanisms of administrative or financial transparency. are not subject to the normal checks and balances of the government process, and are not accountable to citizens if the public disapproves of their actions. Therefore, be it resolved that the Jackson County Board of Commissioners affirms that funding and managing elections is a government function, not a private function. Shall not approve or accept donations or grants of private money or personal or real property to the county for use or purposes of funding or managing elections. Directs the county clerk to send a copy of this resolution to all Michigan counties and our state representatives, senator, and members of Congress representing the state of Michigan. Therefore, be it resolved. We have a motion and support. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
I will call the roll.
Thank you.
Commissioner Walls?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Duckham?
Yes.
Commissioner Pileski?
Yes.
Commissioner Alexander?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
Commissioner Snell? Commissioner Bear?
Yes.
Chairman Shotwell?
Yes.
Passes unanimously.
Thank you. Any other new business? Any other new business to come before the Board of Commissioners? Hearing none, we've arrived at public comment. Each individual will state their name. You have 2 minutes to speak at this time and address the board. You may only address the board once under this public comment opportunity. You may not yield your time to others. Board members will not debate nor answer questions at this time. Yes, sir.
Yes, Pete Jansen. I'd like to thank everybody for their consideration and looking at all the information that was relayed to you with all of the years of work that have already gone into this and the monies that not only Blackman but the county has put forth, as well as the enterprise group to get us to this point. I think the more we work together to get $5.9 million of our tax money back to the community is better for all of us. God knows we send enough of it away, and big cities like Chicago, Detroit, and other areas get millions, and we don't see much progress. So it's nice to see that Jackson County was able to get our share back to our people that sent it there. So thank you, everybody, for your efforts.
David Elba. Thank you.
Kathy Lincoln, President of the Jackson Pickleball Association. Just like to thank each of you for your support of this project over the last couple of years. Next year, when we open, I expect you all to come out and at least hit one ball, softly tossed, so it'll be a successful opening. Not quite as exciting as having a bucket of water at the slam pad, but we'll do something. Anyway, thank you for your support and for this and the honor.
Any further public comments? Seeing or hearing none, commissioner comments. Any commissioner comments? Commissioner Bear.
First comment, chickens are laying far more eggs than I can eat, so I go out and work on fresh eggs. Anybody's welcome to a dozen, chicken on the first serve.
Loved it.
Smash them on your plate. They're free, they're fresh. Second item for me, the policy 5340 that we just passed. I'm confident that I'm the only one who actually put numbers into this cost formula, calculated a fee. If you have done it, you wouldn't have passed it. Cost, item one for cost. Each non-county member is responsible for both their share of investment costs and the operating expenses. Okay, so I went back to information we had 2 years ago for consumers. County's investment in the towers is $5,500,000. This formula says their share on consumer share was 12%. 12% of $5.5 million comes out to $900,000. At the time, the operating expenses that year, the last number I was given was $89,000. So 12% of $89,000 is $10,600. If you add together the $900,000 and the $910,680. Now subtract from that 3% of the $500,000 investment, that's $15,000. That means you have integrity or honesty and you follow this formula. Fee that was been charged to consumers would have been $895,680 a year. That's what you guys did. That's the result of this formula that you passed. I want to see if you got the integrity to charge them that fee. I'm kind of skeptical. Third item, I've been getting calls from township officials, several concerns about how the county's being run. I'm going to put those together in a letter. I'm not going to take the time tonight to go over all of those, but we have citizens and we have township officials that are concerned, strong concerns about where this commission is being run. And the county is being run. I was inviting for you on Saturday.
Any other commissioner comments? I want to thank the commissioners for Fair Week. We had what I considered a very successful opportunity at the fair, and the kids really enjoyed themselves. I want to thank Sheriff Schutte and his team down there. I know you prayed for rain, and you had a certain detective doing a rain dance for Saturday, but other than that, that's about all I know for sure. The report was well received today from Denise, and people had a real good time on that. I recommend that we get out and enjoy our parks here. We're coming up on the end of the summer. We have Civil War muster back at the Cascades. Please feel free to get out and enjoy that this weekend. And Labor Day we'll have fireworks. And I want to thank everyone for their diligent work. And Pete, I miss thanking you for working with me here. You've been a supervisor out there on this different projects that we've tried to get accomplished in Blackman Township and the fits and starts we've had. Thank you, sir, for working hard for the community. I have nothing else. We have no closed session. Motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
We have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Duly carried.